Rolling.
All right, Rod. Well, hours ago we found out that Derek Carr retired. Pretty shocking decision, but what do you make of the move, and what do you think this means for the Saints?
It was a very surprising move to most of us. I think none of us woke up this morning thinking that the Derek Carr era was to be over. He sent out a thank you to the organization and Miss Benson and everything. And I think it just means that the Saints, when they drafted Tyler Shough, I think it means that Kellen Moore said there'll be a quarterback competition, but I think most of us kind of feel like Tyler Shough's probably going to win that position. We think that Kellen Moore has his guy at quarterback, and you look back to 2006 when Sean Payton got here, he was able to bring in his quarterback. This is sort of similar to that. This is actually the first time since then that the Saints have had both a new quarterback and a new head coach starting the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, what it does, I think, is provide a tremendous amount of clarity. Mickey Loomis had used that word in the pre-draft process right before they picked Shough. I think they went in, obviously, knowing that they needed a quarterback. But, for Derek Carr to step away, I think it really provides, it's unfortunate for him because I think he still wants to play football. He's being kind of medically forced into this retirement from his shoulder was a lot worse than it was led on. And that was the surprising part to me is that, I thought he'd get the surgery, go on injured reserve, and maybe readdress the situation next year. What did you make of Carr's decision to actually step away?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was the surprising part because even when we talked to him, the last time we talked to him, which was back in January, the day after the season ended, we just had we just felt like he would be coming back this season. We felt like he would get through this process, and then, obviously the news dropped on April the 11th about the injury, and then all of a sudden everything just became really muddled, and we didn't know what was going on, and not a lot of communication with the media. I mean, I don't know. Kellen Moore said to him that they talked, that communication was fine, but so it was a surprise.
Yeah, and there were still some specifics I would have liked answered. I mean, Derek Carr.
You tried to get answers.
I tried to get answers too. Kellen Moore was a little tight-lipped about it, but we know that Derek Carr started throwing in late March, and that's when he felt pain in his right shoulder. The release that the Saints put out said that Carr informed the team right away. Kellen Moore said he found out in March, but we don't really know when, he got the results of all the tests that he underwent through. When did that become apparent? But, I asked Kellen Moore, does it change the expectations for this year? And he was pretty adamant that it doesn't. But what about you? Do you think this changes for what the Saints could be in 2025?
I didn't look at the Vegas line to see how much it moved today, but I'll check that when we finish this. But I think it probably changed. I mean, I think you have a rookie quarterback who, the few throws that we saw him make today at Ricky Man, I thought he looked really good. I thought he threw the ball really well, threw some really tight spiles. I mean, but this is 7-on-7s, no pass rush, or any of that stuff. But I think the expectations have to go down a little bit with a rookie quarterback. Yeah. I mean, you don't get a lot of rookies to come in and make an impact right away. But I think back to Bo Nix last year, who was the same age as Tyler Shough. He struggled a little bit early on, but toward the end of the season, he really got going, and you found out that Sean Payton ended up drafting a really good quarterback with the Broncos.
Yeah, for me, I don't know necessarily if it changes the expectations for this year, because I think if we had done this going into minicamp and Carr hadn't retired, I think we would have expected Shough to be the starter just based on the injury situation. But for me, what it does is it now opens up the possibilities of maybe building a team around Shough. Derek Carr gave up $30 million to retire. Those salary cap implications will probably be felt in 2026, but Kellen Moore used the word clean slate, and I think that's what the Saints are really getting today with Derek Carr's retirement.
Yeah, it felt like that even, and I know this is rookie minicamp, but just seeing all the new coaches and some of the younger assistants, like it felt new today for some reason for me. And again, I know we don't have the veterans in here yet, but I did feel that newness already, and it does feel like a clean slate. Whenever you start with a rookie quarterback, which I don't know if the Saints have done since Archie Manning, to start a season, I mean, I think that kind of says clean slate.
Yeah. I mean, he could be the first Week 1 starter as a rookie for this franchise since 1971, perhaps. So, closing up here, how will you remember the Derek Carr era in New Orleans?
For me, I think Derek Carr is a guy who, first of all, I mean, he was brought in, pretty big contract, was supposed to be, I know they had some other guys between Drew Brees and Carr, but he was kind of supposed to be supposed to be Drew Brees' replacement. And for whatever reason, he just never really connected with the city like they wanted him to. personally, like as a media member, I enjoy working with him. I can walk up to him after practice and ask him anything, and he talk, which a lot of quarterbacks don't do that. But I mean, he's 14-13 his time here, and that's an average record, and I think that's kind of how he'll be remembered, sort of as an average quarterback that didn't quite live up to expectations.
Yeah, he ultimately didn't deliver on the results that this team wanted. I mean, personally, he was very good to deal with, but yeah, to me, you mentioned it. You just couldn't you couldn't escape Drew Brees' shadow, and I think that's really something that kind of hung around him. From the fan reaction to, he tried to ignore it, but I think it was just palpable through his time here, and that's kind of what is refreshing about Kellen Moore, Tyler Shough. They have their chance to go make their own history now. This is a new regime, a little bit, at least on the coaching side. The front office is still intact, but we'll see. And if things go south, then the quarterback derby might be the quarterback carousel might be spinning around next time this offseason too.
Yeah, it might be on Arch watch.
Yeah, maybe Derek will come out of retirement. Who knows? Actually, let's close with that. Do you expect this retirement to stick?
At first I was saying no, but I think Derek Carr is a guy that he loves his family. I think when he takes this year off, which I'm assuming he's off this year, I think he might say, you know what, I do enjoy spending time at home and being with my boys and all that. So I can see him like shutting it down at this point and just kind of looking at some of the stuff on social media. I think, this might be the end for him.
Yeah, if the shoulder is as bad as they say it is, I mean, just like at Drew Brees, he wanted to keep playing, and ultimately the shoulder by the end of his career got so bad he couldn't play any longer.
Yeah.
But that's it for now. We'll have a full podcast coming on this later, but check out NOLA.com for all our Derek Carr news and Saints news from today's rookie minicamp.